Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. A jury has convicted the first person of assaulting a police officer during the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol, and the assailant just happens to be a former police officer himself. CBS's Skylar Henry has more from Capitol Hill.
A jury has convicted former NYPD officer Thomas Webster of assaulting an officer during the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. Prosecutors showed Webster using a flagpole to assault D.C. officer Noah Rathburn. Webster claimed self-defense.
We had a video that depicted exactly what transpired here, including the officer punching Tom at a time when it wasn't necessary.
This comes as the congressional committee investigating the attack is looking for new information for some members of Congress. The committee believes Congressman Andy Biggs, Mo Brooks, and Ronnie Jackson all have information that is relevant to the investigation and are asking the lawmakers to volunteer the information. Congressman Jackson's name has been linked to messages sent by accused Oath Keepers on January 6th who wanted to protect the congressman during the riot. And Congressman Brooks is facing a civil lawsuit over the speech he gave that day.
Today is the day American patriots start taking down names and kicking.
The January 6th committee won its most recent court case when a Trump-appointed federal judge ruled the Republican National Committee must turn over some of its data. Judge Timothy Kelly sided with the January 6th committee as it seeks the RNC data, saying its fundraising efforts after the 2020 election helped stoke violence at the Capitol.
We're seeing protesters overcome the police.
That attack has helped contribute to severe staffing shortages in the U.S. Capitol Police Force. Today, for the first time, contractors have begun taking over some of the USCP's duties. Capitol security officers, who are not sworn officers, will be unarmed and will not wear police uniforms. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Webster was convicted on all 6 counts in his indictment. The assault charge is punishable by up to 20 years in prison, although sentencing guidelines likely will recommend a shorter prison term.
Nice but warm around the region on this first Monday of May. We are seeing some blue skies still out there, but the clouds, those are working back in as well. Outside at the moment, taking a look at I-75 at Mount Vernon, looking okay. Clouds a bit thicker there. We're starting to see those clouds blocking the sun out there right now. Same thing down the interstate I-75 at London, where we're starting to see more mostly cloudy versus partly cloudy skies. Temperatures throughout the area still pretty nice. Low or middle and upper 70s just about everywhere. Wise, our only spot in the low 70s. Look at Middlesboro, not far from 80 at this hour. Same thing with Jackson and in Prestonsburg, as well as Clintwood, Virginia. Clean sweep on pinpoint Doppler in the mountains, but we look out to the west, and that is where showers and even some strong to severe thunderstorms to our south already developing. I'll have the very latest on the WYMT weather app, of course, later on tonight, and we'll continue to see those temperatures fall through the 60s during the overnight hours. And you may need the app tomorrow because we're talking a risk for strong storms. I'll have the details coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
Evan, thank you. Some Kentucky vocalists are heading to New York City to sing at Carnegie Hall, but they need your help. The ensemble is fundraising for their National Honors performance, and they are calling on the community to step up. Allie Blake has more.
In just over a month, 21 Scapa Voice students will be making their way from the Bluegrass to the Big Apple to perform on one of America's most famous stages. And not only are they the only school to represent the great state of Kentucky, but they are proud to do so.
But seeing their musical development is just amazing, and to be part of that process is just so humbling.
These middle schoolers had the opportunity to audition for the National Honors Ensemble and will sing a wide range of pieces from classical, spiritual, to folk songs, all under the direction of Greg Gilpin, a famous name in the music world.
They get to rehearse with him up in New York City and perform a concert in Carnegie Hall.
Wells was able to do this while she was in high school and wanted to make sure her students had the opportunity to do so.
It's amazing to me to be able to see all the tall buildings, all the people. We got to see a Broadway show, which my students will get to do that as well.
Wells says it's her goal to make the trip every 3 years so her students year after year have the opportunity to practice and perform like this.
The program says they're still looking for help ahead of their big trip and need just around $18,000 to help complete their musical memories, and are calling on the community to help. In Lexington, Allie Blake, WKYT.
And there's more information about how to donate on WYMT.com. The Pentagon has found an array of software vulnerabilities at dozens of defense contractors. It is part of the year-long Vulnerability Disclosure Pilot Program, which aims to find such vulnerabilities before hackers can exploit them. The Pentagon has been conducting such efforts internally for years. Now it's hoping to expand that to smaller contractors that don't have the resources to do so themselves. The pilot program involved 41 companies. Some of them were not aware their IT systems were publicly accessible. An estimated 300,000 companies work with the government on defense contracts. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. President Biden and White House officials say they've seen the pandemic exacerbate mental health struggles, especially in young people. Adam Duxter shares how high school students are fighting back while raising awareness in New Brighton, Minnesota.
Through music, art, and a charity walk at Long Lake Park, Mountain View High School students are taking a step to address a problem.
What we've noticed is that a lot of our adults in our lives have a harder time talking about mental illness, and there's a lot of shame that goes around just talking about the experiences that you've had.
Seniors Maddie Terwilliger and Marian Cirque-Cerisi know it's a tough conversation. But
the more people that talk about it, I mean, the better it gets.
For these teens, making a difference is as simple as a walk in the park. Something they admit the last few years hasn't been.
Being in isolation and having just like a global nationwide just like unrest, I think it's created a lot of anxieties in people's lives, and I think a lot of people have struggled with that mentally, and especially with the isolation.
Suicide, the second leading cause of death for people their age, according to the CDC.
What's going on? Is this depression?
Which is why they're raising awareness while raising funds for the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention through a charity walk and by sharing stories about how things like anxiety and depression have impacted their lives.
You see when you talk to people around you that a lot of other people are struggling with similar things, and that it's not just you, and it really helps people to see that they're not alone in their struggles.
Demonstrated by the different colored beads, a way to represent if your life has been impacted by suicide.
If one person could see all of the people that are here gathered to support them and feel safe and feel like they are being heard and represented, and that maybe next time that they're struggling, they can reach out.
Something they hope is a step in the right direction. Adam Duxter, WCCO 4 News.
There are resources available if you or someone you know needs help. You can call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. Someone will be there 24/7 to take your call. An investigation continues into dozens of unusual cases of acute hepatitis in children here in the United States and in Europe. 18 cases have been reported across 4 states so far, but there were no clear links between the patients, who were generally healthy children ranging in age from younger than 2 to older than 5. 2 patients had to undergo liver transplants. Doctors ruled out several common causes of pediatric hepatitis, but they detected adenovirus in all of the patients. After 2 years of COVID disruptions, the Met Gala is back. The event, seen as fashion's biggest night, returns to its usual spot the first Monday of May. New York City's Metropolitan Museum of Art hosts the gala. People attending tonight are asked to dress in a style that references the Gilded Age at the end of the 19th century. The Met Gala made its debut in 1948. It's highlighted by A-list celebrities and designers and the often over-the-top way they interpret each year's fashion theme. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, if you're looking for ways to make Mother's Day special, we'll have some ideas to give your mom the day she deserves.
Stormy weather is on the horizon tomorrow and through much of the work week. The latest on our active pattern coming up next.